So I hope all of you understood or understand everything that we did up to this point. So silhouette drawing is drawing the outside edge of an object. It does include some negative shapes. So we also did continuous contour. So continuous contour is basically drawing an object. Inside lines are also included, but you're not allowed to just pick up your pencil from the paper. So you have to be drawing with one continuous single line. The third contour line drawing was blind contour. So it's the same as continuous contour. The only difference is you don't look at your paper. So what happens is sometimes you get these really strange looking, distorted, funky looking drawings, but I like them. I think they have a lot of character. So that's called blind contour. I want you to choose a shoe like a sneaker that has some inside details like this, which is not completely smooth. I want you to choose a shoe that has some structure. So don't pick a ballet flat, the kind with an elastic. Try to pick a shoe that has structure, like a high top sneaker or a regular sneaker. I would not draw it like this, like straight on like that. That's really boring. To make it look more three-dimensional, maybe I want to do something like that this time around and have this arch up, this little strap up, so I can include this negative space here. That would look cool. Maybe hold it at an angle so that the nose or the front of the shoe is coming at me and the back gets smaller. But whatever you do, do not trace your shoe, because you can totally tell when people just trace things. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Also, that's why I want you to draw your shoe, smaller or bigger than life size. In this case, a little bit smaller. Please don't draw a tiny little shoe in the middle of the paper. I'm putting my shoe on a piece of paper, like an extra piece of paper, and on the bottom half of the paper, I'm putting the shoe. The upper half of the paper, I'm kind of bending it up and putting it up against a book or a bunch of stuff. Just so that I don't see all that busy stuff behind it, and it'll help me focus on the shoe. So you might want to do that too. If you have a little extra piece of copy paper, or you want to cut a piece of sketchbook paper out, put something in the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to just do a little rough sketch. Real light lines. I'm going to just do the opening of the shoe where I would put my foot. Okay, it's kind of shaped kind of like a jelly bean, like this. Not a lot of detail. So looking at this, and at this point I could erase everything and not feel heartbroken over it. I think I like this size. This part of the foot may have to be drawn a little bit bigger. The strap gets a little bit thicker in the middle. Okay, I'm looking at the negative space between the strap and the back here of the shoe. And now I feel like I could make that a little bit more, a little longer, the strap, and there's a little bump there. And then there's the other side of the strap coming back down, because it's like a rainbow, it's like a arch shape. And then right here is that little black button or rivet with the little crocodile symbol on it. Okay, so that is a sketch. And what the rough sketch, it's like a rough sketch, and what that helps you to do is place your shoe on the paper. It helps you to figure out what scale you want to draw. Scale is the same as saying size. And then when I'm looking at this shoe, I see that the shoe does have some treads going on. So right here was actually a tread, so I'm going to make it smooth. And then I'm going to come in and go up and down and up and down and up and down for the little treads of the shoe that help you to not slip on surfaces. This is the arch. I'm gonna try to define the arch now. And when I do that, I'm kind of looking at the shape of the negative space here between the paper and the bottom of the shoe. So this is where like looking at the shape of the negative can help you define the positive shape. So I noticed that this shoe is actually at an angle, so it should not line up perfectly. Like the bottom of the sole here is not in line with the bottom of the heel here, because the shoe is diagonal. The way that I positioned it is more diagonal, so it's actually right here. And then I'm going to draw those treads. These are like little, like really complicated little details, so maybe I want to right now just work on the big stuff, like the big sweeping lines, and try to figure out how to make those a little bit more accurate. So I'm gonna go and find the correct line and get rid of all of these little sketchy lines by just picking one line and making it darker. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with my eraser and just erase out all the other little lines that I don't want to keep. If you don't like all the eraser dust that your eraser is making, here's the other trick. Remember that kneaded eraser I was telling you about? The kneaded eraser doesn't make any eraser dust. So if you're drawing in bed or something like that, although you should not be in bed, then you won't get all that nasty eraser dust. It'll just get sucked into the eraser, but your eraser does get dirty, and the more pencil lead that gets sucked in there, the stiffer and less squishy it'll become until you eventually have to toss it out. So that's kind of the downside of having that eraser, in that it doesn't last forever. Once it absorbs a certain amount of pencil, graphite powder in there, it's gonna not erase as well. But that happens after a long time though. Like I don't see us doing like 42-inch drawings where you have to, erase humongous parts of your drawing right now. So don't worry about it. So I see that I'm looking at this part right over here, and I'm thinking that I need to modify the shape, change it a little bit. So I'm just trying to find the correct curve here. This croc right here has a thickness to it. It's about, I would say, 1/8 of an inch. So how do you show that? Well, you show that with a double line. I know that there's literally not a double line there, but since we can't use shading, we're gonna have to sometimes use a double line to show that, to express thickness. Okay. This croc also has like these little double lines too that are molded, that were luckily a part of the molding process. So I actually see a double line here too. Okay, so basically we're just doing a line drawing. That's what a modified contour line drawing is. I see a line here, and the line gets skinnier and skinnier as it goes around the top of the shoe, and then it disappears, So you should make those two double lines disappear, and then it becomes the back of the shoe, like that. Okay, here's this. You know that this button right here is a circle, but we're not looking at it we're not looking at it straight on so that we see we're looking at it at an angle like this. So if it's at any other angle besides like straight on, parallel to your eyes, then that circle, any circle, becomes an oval. That also applies to all these little holes here. I'm looking at them at an angle when I'm drawing this shoe. So all those little holes are going to be drawn at different angles, and they are all going to be some sort of oval. So what they're going to look like is this. So that one is like this one right here. Okay, so what's that one going to look like? It's going to look like an oval, and you got to get the angle correct too. Okay, so you're going to have to get the angle correct. Let me put that shoe down. To me, now that I put the shoe down, I see it as more of an oval like this. And not only that, I see the edge of the oval. You see that? That little moon like that? What that little thing right there represents is the thickness of the material of the styrofoam. This like shoe is made out of some sort of foam. So it shows the thickness of that foam material. And then this goes like a little bit more horizontal here. So if I can't use shading to show that and show how the light changes on the top or this nose part of the shoe, then I can express that through how I draw the little perforations, the little holes in the shoe here, right? So then this one can be a little bit more circular, like that, and then I can show the hole like that. So that'll suddenly, you'll be like, the eye will see that, okay, well this angle is different from that angle, and that hole shape is different, and then this hole shape right over here is going to be different from that. This one's going to be shaped more like this, and then I'm going to show like the edge of the material like that, and then this is going to be all black in here, but I'm not shading, so I'm not going to do that. So then this kind of shows like the contouring of the shoe by how you draw those holes in perspective. It's a little tricky, I know, but I'm just demonstrating how the angle of those circles are actually giving information about the contour of that three-dimensional surface. So I want you to get away from this idea of everything being really flat and being razor thin, because there's nothing in this world besides paper, of course, that is that skinny and razor thin. So there's a lot of erasing we have to do. We got to get rid of all these little stray marks. Here we see the strap coming down like that and like that. And I see an extra line here just to show the edge or the thickness of that strap. That's why I'm going to draw that. And then right along the top here is going to be the other button on the opposite side, because it actually goes through the material and into the back of that, into the inside of the shoe. Hopefully that does not rub up against people's feet and hurt them. I'm looking at this and I'm not loving this angle too much. I feel like that's sweeping up too much. So I'm going to adjust it and have it be a little bit lower. Kind of change that angle up so it's more like that. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Oh, I was just talking about the angle of this line. on my shoe right here. Like the way that it comes, well, before the line kind of came up more. Now I'm changing it so that it angles down. You get what I'm saying? It used to be up here and now it's down here. So I just changed that so that the back of the heel of the shoe is angling downward a little bit. Sunaya, do you understand what I just did? Okay. No. It doesn't have anything to do with, you know, being easier or anything like that. So I also see that this angle is really flat. And on the shoe itself, it's a lot more, it's more round. So I'm going to change that, okay? And I'm going to change that line so that it's more convex instead of flat. Okay, now that really looks more three-dimensional. Over here, I'm looking at the negative space right over here, and I'm looking at that angle, and I'm looking at my shoe, and I think that this is wrong. It needs to be a little bit rounder right there. So I'm going to make it a little rounder because you know Crocs are like really thick and also really wide where the toes are. They kind of remind me of like duckbills. They're not particularly attractive shoes like the regular types of Crocs. So people just wear them to tool around outside. They're not normally wearing them for fashion. So the holes here kind of go like that, and then you see the edge of the hole at the top. And then as you go around the nose of the shoe, I'm going to just call it the nose just to be easier, there's still ovals, but the angle changes up a little bit. The angle changes it up. I see a little bit more of this left side here. And then here's another hole here. So little details, they may not look important to you, but what they do is they also express form. So here, like that. And then there's a couple more holes in here. But more importantly, we should put in some of those inside structures that are important. So there is a line here for the sole of the shoe. And that goes up here. Actually, that goes up here. It gets really thin here at the arch. So I see another little line here. So many little lines here. Then this one here goes all the way up here to the Croc strap, like that. Okay, so it gets pretty thick right here. Okay, so just find your lines. Then from here, it travels around like that. I'm going to make that line a little thicker and get rid of all these stray marks. Now I'm just cleaning up everything. And if you want, you know what really makes this drawing look good, and it is totally optional, but I like the way that the contour line drawings look almost like a graphic design piece, like a piece of art on a poster. I like to take a really skinny marker and go over my lines so that they really stand out, and it really makes the work strong looking. Has a lot of visual impact, so you may want to do that for your work if you have some really fine markers, extra fine. If you don't, that's totally okay. If you have a really extra fine, this is called fine, right? This fine Sharpie, but it's not fine. This is like more like a medium. Some people might think it's even like too large for their type of work. I'm talking about extra fine. There is an extra fine Sharpie that you could order if you wanted. I ordered a bunch of these really inexpensive pointy paint markers. There's actually like black paint inside them. And I think they were made overseas in China, and they had great reviews. And I just really like them. So I might go over the lines with a paint marker just so that it seems like really, really black and sharp. This chunky heel here, I feel like I need to make that heel a whole lot chunkier. It just doesn't have the weight that I see in front of me. So I'm going to make that heel like this thick. Now that looks better. Now we're getting somewhere. This whole area, if I could shade it, I think it would look a whole lot better, but there's no shading. So then I'm going to add this little dot right here, and that is going to help to express, okay, how's this? You see what that did right there? So that's going to show like how the surface goes down like that, and then goes like that, and then it goes more flat at the top of the feet. So we got a hole right here, then we got another hole like really close by right here, and the opening is just like tiny. Like you see most of like the thickness of the material right there. Then from here, I can tell from here and here where this little hole, this little guy goes, and he's right here, and I really see a lot more of the opening here, and just like a tiny little bit of the back thickness right there. Okay, so there's a hole right there. So I have 1, 2, 3. I've got this guy, and now I need one more guy, and he's gonna be this. He's like right here. He's gonna be like right here. And it's okay. If you're wrong about something, correct it. And if you don't see it, you did the best you can. Don't beat yourself up about it. You know, this is just this is a drawing. It's nothing, nothing life-threatening. Enjoy the process, folks. Enjoy the process. So this is right now I see a hole right here. So that's the openings right here along the bottom edge of the crock that I'm drawing. So I see that. I see another opening right here. It's about this gap between the two is about the size of the openings themselves. So that's kind of like my way of measuring things roughly. Okay, I see that. Then I see another opening right over here. And in order to make the opening look a little bit more real, I don't quite see it, but I see it kind of, it's in shadow, but I am going to draw the inside edge of the hole here to make that more three-dimensional. And the same with this hole right here. I'm just going to draw an even smaller, thinner sliver of the inside edge. And then over here, okay, over here, I'm going to draw a little bit of the inside edge too. So what is that? When I kind of clarify that as an artist, you can make that call. You're like, that'll help my viewer, the person looking at my art, to understand my drawing better if they could see that a little bit more clearly. So sometimes as an artist, you have to kind of make that call. I'm gonna put a line here, and it's really not here, but that may also help me to help define the shape of it. So that line I may decide to get rid of or not. That actually delineates the side of the shoe from the top of the shoe. So if I was painting, I would paint this area darker and this area a little bit lighter. So we're at the end of the class. That is contour line drawing. First do a rough sketch, then go over your lines and find the perfect line, and try to Just keep it to one clean line later, and that'll be your modified contour line drawing. And then right here, I forgot to finish up my tread, so I would just draw in my treads like that. So okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I want you to get started on this and maybe do like half of the work tonight. You don't have to finish. We will work on this in class, okay? And then we will see each other tomorrow. All right. Mrs. Helena, peace. Deuces. Peace out.